Well, let's focus on the top story of the day. The Patiala House Court today will hear the defamation case filed by former Union Minister M.J. Akbar against journalist Priya Ramani, who accused him of sexual harassment. Remember, Akbar resigned yesterday as the Minister of State for External Affairs after several women accused him of sexual harassment. We have Parikshit Luthra and Ashmit Kumar at the Patiala Court House joining us with more details. Guys, tell us what is the time that we're looking at for the proceedings to start, and are we expecting anything major out of the hearing today?
Well, the hearing would commence at 2 p.m. this afternoon. That's when the six-lawyer team of M.J. Akbar and lawyers of Priya Ramani will arrive in the courtroom, and we're going to see a brief hearing on whether this case can be admitted and will be heard in the first place. But what is just in is the fact that the Editors Guild has issued a statement urging M.J. Akbar to withdraw his case, saying that 17 or 18 women across the country have spoken out against him, and it would be paradoxical for him to fight this case, considering he had been the president of the guild in the past itself. Just to show you what's happening at the Patiala House Court, it's in court number 16 of this court that the matter would be heard. It is the additional Chief Metropolitan Magistrate Samar Vishal who would be hearing the case. There is a lot of media interest in this. A lot of journalists are set to arrive as well. You can see the sheer number of cameras outside. I'm going to go across and get in our legal correspondent Ashmit at this stage. Ashmit, what are we expecting in the court? What is M.J. Akbar's defense really? He says we're not asking for any interim relief. This is only for criminal defamation and punishment.
Indeed, now these are criminal defamation proceedings under Section 500 of the Indian Penal Code. Now, the argument that he's made is that these questions, these claims that have been made by Priya Ramani and the others, in Priya Ramani to be specific as far as this case is concerned, are falsified, that there is a malicious design whereby there's other motivations, there are intentions, there's a certain agenda that is being pushed for, that this has caused him grievous hurt, that this has hurt him professionally, his political career, his political capital that he's built over the years has been hurt, that socially, within his family, within his friends, he's been hurt, and therefore he's taking the remedy of a Section 500 petition before the Patiala court here, which will be heard at 2 p.m. Now, as for what is expected, well, today is just the first hearing. We're essentially going to have the counsels I beg your pardon, of M.J. Akbar, and they will be recording their evidence, they'll be recording their claims, they'll be recording their submissions, and based on that, the court will essentially take a call that prima facie whether or not there is a case to be made out for defamation in the first place. If there is, then the summons get issued to the defendant in this case, who happens to be Priya Ramani. So that's something that we need to watch out for. Of course, the hearing will begin at 2 p.m.
And important to see what does Priya Ramani also say. What we can say is the fact that Priya Ramani will try and impress upon the court that whatever statement was made by her, whatever article was posted on Twitter, that was for public good, and that was an imputation of truth. That was not to defame M.J. Akbar, but to really bring out the truth and expose M.J. Akbar for whatever he had done in the past as well. There has been a lot of political pressure on the government, and it is really the might of these 17 or 18 journalists which has really urged the government to make M.J. Akbar resign. Our sources telling us that this really happened at the topmost level in the government, and the call was taken by the Prime Minister.
Okay, Parikshit and Ashmit, thank you so much for joining us. Important hearing lined up at 2 p.m. today. The court will hear arguments whether the court should admit the case or not. We will keep coming back to you guys for more updates as and when the story develops. But this is a story that has caught the nation by storm, with a lot of support really coming in for women. In fact, let's hear in some big voices on the matter and what they had to say on this particular case as well.
ये राइट डिसीजन इसलिए है कि गवर्नमेंट तक वो आवाज पहुंची और गवर्नमेंट ने उसका कॉग्निजेंस लिया. कोई भी पद पे बैठा हुआ व्यक्ति अगर कोई गलती करता है या हुई है या नहीं हुई है, जब तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन पूरा ना हो, मुझे लगता है वो पद के लिए गरिमामय नहीं है अगर वो पद पे बैठा है और उसके ऊपर कोई इल्जाम लगता है.
तो नैतिक आधार पर उन्होंने रिजाइन देना चाहिए. इसी तरह की बहुत सारी मांग हो रही थी. वो मुझे लगता है कि भाई एमजे अकबर जी ने जो निर्णय लिया, ये निर्णय सही निर्णय है. तो जब तक कोर्ट में केस चलती रहेगी, जब तक वो दोषी है या नहीं है इसके संबंध में जब तक निर्णय होता नहीं है, तब तक वो उस पद का इस्तीफा उन्होंने दे दिया है. ये एक अच्छा निर्णय है. उनके ऊपर जो भी आरोप है इसकी पूरी जांच होनी चाहिए.
The minister concerned does not have the moral authority to continue being a minister. So since it's morally untenable, we had said he should step down and resign. Now the case is before the court that he's resigned because it's morally untenable, okay, but the cases are there before the court, whatever be the outcome of it.
Okay, let's hear another important voice on the matter, and this one is of Sabah Naqvi, who's one of the key accuser in the MJ Akbar case, and what she had to say about MJ Akbar's resignation and his defamation suit against Priya Ramani. Take a look.
I'm delighted, let me be sarcastic. Mr. Akbar is using the word appropriate in a resignation letter, whereas he ran a professional career for 30 years with highly inappropriate behavior. Let's see what happens in the case with Priya. Let's watch that. That'll be an important case. It could be a precedent-setting case, regardless of how many lawyers he may have. I mean, public opinion, I don't think is with him. And even the law, I don't know how the judge is. It will depend on the judge. Let's watch that.
Okay, we will keep you updated on this developing story, but on to some action from the India Business Leader Awards now. The process to pick the best of the India Inc. for the 14th edition of the awards began yesterday with the jury meeting in Mumbai. The meeting was chaired by veteran banker Uday Kotak. From the best business leader to company to startup and to the best state, the jury deliberated on all the categories and zeroed in on the winners. The jury also sat down with cnbc TV 18 Shireen Bhan to discuss the battle for growth. Now, there was consensus among the corporate leaders that India needs to reimagine the finance sector and unleash a slew of reforms to boost the financial space.
With reference to housing finance companies, I would urge through mechanisms like NHB to significantly increase the refinance lines, which enables, but I think 6,000 crores was what the increase was. You need a larger increase where quality housing finance companies get larger refinanceability from longer term money rather than short term debt. Much greater integration across regulation and regulators, much greater communication also with a marketplace which is so much in the listed and open space, where even a small transaction in debt of a few hundred crores has disproportionate impact.
The first and foremost, I agree you need public sector banks, but I don't think they have to be majority owned in such a significant way. And what we are lacking today is real equity capital. So whatever price, I think if they drop below 51, it's not the end of the world because they're still public sector. I think the new government will have to think very hard. I have 5 good PSU banks to back, do some consolidation, let the others be regional banks collecting savings like the Germans do, right? They have lots of banks in the rural sector. Let them do a different role. Everyone doesn't have to be a universal lender. Yeah? There are 5 competent banks and drop their shareholding below, go raise money from the public. I mean, that's the way to do it. And if it comes to 47, I don't think SBI is going to lose the character of a government bank.
This is a liquidity issue and not an asset quality issue. But given that they are going to be shrinking, the slack has to be taken up by the banking sector, deposit ratios. So their maneuverability in terms of significant growth, unless the deposit growth picks up significantly, is going to get challenged. That's why I'm such a votary of securitization that both of them referred to. And I think today's securitization is possible through horizontal strips. Okay. So I'm not as pessimistic about the mutual funds. Okay. If we give them the right tools to manage for up to 1 year maturity through these securitization strips.
Okay, on that note, we'll slip into a quick break on the show. Up next, we'll tell you the market update as well as the cues and news lined up for trade tomorrow.